Hello, we're here with FIDE Master Kassa Korley, the frequent Board 2 player for the Carolina Cobras. This is FM Klein reporting for the U.S. Chess League. Kassa, how you doing today?
I'm all right. Just got out of classes, so a little tired, but I'm all right.
Right, I understand you're a Duke University sophomore, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, well, the season has begun with three straight ties for the Cobras. Considering the team and you personally are perennially outrated, are you pretty happy with the start to the season?
Actually, not really, because I feel like we've had a lot of chances that we've sort of let slip. So, I mean, we've certainly been fortunate in some cases, definitely. But I feel like we could definitely just as easily be 3-0. So, um,
Right. Well, it's never easy for you. So far, you've faced two GMs and a WGM. Now, I guess part of your, desire for better results goes back to week one. Did you just get low on time when Jesse Cry was able to fork you?
yeah, like, so yeah, it's actually funny. The week one result sort of inspired my week two result because um, it's really not a good idea to take up a lot of time early on in the game. Excuse me. And I think I spent maybe 15 to 20 minutes on like move 8 or 9, and it cost me later. So I think in the U.S. Chess League, actually, you have to really be even more cognizant of understanding when you're going to need your time the most, and it's certainly not going to be the opening.
Right. Now, you
Uh,
guys began week three with a time deficit due to a late lineup, and we'll get to week three in a second, but it sounds like week three was a big challenge starting out with only 50 some odd minutes. Well, do you like the role of underdog?
I love it. I think I thrive in it. I love the upset. I love playing people stronger than me. It's very there's an added level of motivation for me um, because I know what it's like to sort of be the one that's underestimated. So it's a role I really enjoy, and some of my best games have been again when I've played players much stronger than me, like when I beat Ganguly, or I actually had a winning position against Kamsky at the World Open, which I failed to convert. But those are the moments I sort of live for when I'm playing chess.
Yeah, those are impressive games. And in week two, you beat a grandmaster as black in a wild game. You beat Mikhail Kekalizze and came within a whisker of winning game of the week. It wasn't a technical masterpiece like Ben Feingold had in his winning game of the week, but can you describe your emotions during the game?
Yeah, so like I said, actually, my week one result actually inspired my play in week two because I told myself that you know what it's funny that we talk about correct chess because certainly my game wasn't exactly the most technical game, um, but the way I see it now is that because you're playing a 90-minute game. Um, and there's no second time control or anything like that. You really just need to make sure that you have time for the most critical parts of the game. So I figure that nothing drastic is going to happen in the opening that's going to make me winning or losing. I just may be slightly better or slightly worse. My plan of attack in the second game was to make sure that I had enough time for critical junctions of the game. So I actually more or less blitzed my moves in the opening in the Kikalitsa game, and certainly got a worse position. But I was willing. I just want to make sure there was just enough dynamics there so that when the game became a little unbalanced, I'd get my shot.
Well, it was definitely imbalanced, and of course, the crowd loved to see your king walk to e5. Were you sure that your king was safe when it got there?
Yeah, actually, it was something I had thought about uh, much earlier, and that's probably not a good thing because I had because the position was still in doubt, and until he started to check my king up to e5. I don't know what prompted that, but um, there were certain junctures where c6 would have been a move that puts him very much in the game because I have to worry about the pawn just queening. So I'm definitely not losing there, but there's definitely still a lot of play left in the position.
Yeah, another curious fact about the game, it was almost 60 moves, and I don't think you moved your queen's rook at all. Is that correct?
Wow, I haven't actually, I didn't actually give that any thought, but maybe that's the case.
Yeah, don't think it
Wow.
moved at all. Now, you guys topped that with a really wild week three. You won the exchange off of Abrahamian, but it was tough to convert with their bishop sitting on f6, and then it seemed like you guys might win the match, and then your top board Jonathan Schroer, who always has to play up, he got swindled in the end game. But tell us what happened on board four. I turned my screen off thinking that it was a lost cause. What happened?
Yeah, that was actually really funny. Raul Swaminathan, who's a freshman at Duke now, him and Joshua Mu, a high school student, switch off playing week to week. And Raul played after he played so well last week. He decided to play this week as well. And it was a very peculiar situation because he got just a much worse position out of the Grunfeld, and he was clawing and fighting, but it was clear he was losing. He was down 2 pawns. But what had happened is that his opponent, I don't recall his opponent's name, but
Casella.
Casella was having some difficulty converting the completely winning position. The way it was, there was Casella had a 3-pawn advantage on the king side, and there was a lone pawn on the queen, lone black pawn on the queen side. So Casella had to worry about that pawn with his bishop, but he should have been able to break through, and there are many ways to break through. I actually was about to leave and start my homework because I had class the next day, so I actually was about to leave, and then he drew, and I was astonished. Like, I was like, what is going on? Like, that's amazing. He was able to claim threefold because Casella was trying to find a smooth way to convert the position and just, I think by mistake, he must have shuffled the pieces around a little bit too much.
Right, it seemed like he could have pushed the E, the F, or the H pawn, but if I were Raul, I would just be hitting the draw button over and over until the third reposition occurred, and it certainly worked out for you guys. So, well, let me ask you, how are you balancing your studies at Duke University now that you're a sophomore? Are you still being able to study some chess, or are you mostly focused on school?
Well, I sort of, last year, I sort of didn't really focus on chess. I just focused on the school part and just getting well adjusted. And I have other passions. I'm a really I love to play basketball. I played in high school, and so I'm a gym rat to a certain extent, where I'm usually going to the gym almost every day and playing a lot of basketball. So chess wasn't really on the forefront of my mind until the summer, and then I had a slew of pretty bad results during the summer, and I realized I definitely need to put some time in during the year, or I'm not going to be where I want to be in good tournament form when the summer rolls around. So it's definitely nice to be in the U.S. Chess League and get a chance to play in some games and have some challenges. But yeah, the school definitely comes first. So.
Have you decided what you're majoring in?
No, I'm actually still undeclared. You declare second semester this year. I'm gonna go public policy or political science, but I haven't really decided past that.
Any chance of you becoming a chess professional upon graduation?
Probably not. But I do have aspirations to become a grandmaster. I think it's going to take some time, but it will get done. It will get done. I've actually had several opportunities to sort of. I have one IM norm currently, and I sort of feel like I play stronger than my rating. So when other people are surprised that I pulled this result off, I'm actually not too surprised. I was actually sort of upset with myself that I didn't win yesterday, because I was up in exchange. I mean, certainly Tatev had a pawn, and there was some work to be done because my king was slightly exposed and my pawn structure wasn't great. But I should have converted yesterday. if I was brave enough to, walk my king out again, this time to h5, I would have been all right. But so far so good, and hopefully the Cobras can make some more progress. And hopefully we'll win a match instead of drawing all these matches.
Well, you're already almost close to last season's total, so things are looking good. Did you give any thought to going to one of the chess schools like UTD or UMBC?
No, not at all, because uh, for me like chess is certainly a big part of my life, but it isn't the focal point. So I want to go to like just as strong as an academic institution as I could, and then take it from there. And actually, the great thing is I get the best of both worlds, and I have a strong athletic institution as well. So I get to enjoy the basketball here and stuff like that. So.
Now, shortly after turning 15, you became the youngest ever African American chess master. Now it seems like the record's being broken every year. Any ideas for why the sudden emergence of African American talent in the U.S.?
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting that these all these guys are. Some people like to say that the three J's, Josh, Justice, and James. We all knew each other quite well, because we all played at the Marshall Chess Club. I mean, granted, Josh Colas is actually from New Jersey, I believe, but we all saw each other weekend after weekend at the Marshall. So I think to a certain extent, they perhaps fed off a bit of the energy that I was producing, and definitely it's great for the game to have more African Americans involved, because when I was a kid, it's funny. I mean, I like to think I'm still a kid, but it's not so much anymore. But when I was much younger, you go to these chess tournaments, and I'd be the only black kid there. So it's nice now that you have it's still a very, very small contingency, but one that is vying to sort of compete, and not just there, but doing big things. That's great, and I think that, and that's why it leads towards sort of, I mean, your question about the further aspirations. The reason I want to become a grandmaster is, I mean, it's a personal goal, and it means a lot to you personally, but I also want to just make it, just to show that it's possible, because personally I never had a coach, so I always worked myself, and that was difficult, and definitely not easy, but I really want to lay the foundation to let the kids know that, African American kids know that, you work hard enough at something, you're gonna get it done. You're gonna succeed.
Well, hopefully they're all watching the U.S. Chess League because, in addition to you, Justice plays for the Knights and Josh plays for the New Dreadnoughts. So you guys are well represented in the U.S. Chess League. There's been a lot of talk in chess circles that records based on ethnicity shouldn't exist. A little bit like the controversy whether or not women's titles should exist. Do you shy away from the record, or do you embrace it?
Well, I mean, you don't. You just understand that. You understand that it is a big deal for the contingency that the record is representing. You do understand that's important, but then you also understand that if you put it in perspective, there are a lot of other talented kids that made it way younger, that are from different ethnicities and backgrounds. So you realize that you put into perspective, and you think, okay, it's not that big a deal, but it does mean something. And when you think about the context of the record, then you start to see why it means something, and where it puts the state of the game today.
I hope you make it. Now, you've got an interesting heritage. I understand you hold 3 passports. Is that true? And do you travel abroad often?
I don't hold 3 passports.
Okay.
I'm eligible to probably hold 3, but I have 2. I have a Danish passport and an American passport. My dad was born in Denmark, to a Danish mother and Ghanaian father. So I believe eligible for Ghanaian citizenship, but I've never been. How I actually got into chess was by traveling to Denmark. I learned the game like when I was 5, but my grandfather, he, uh, he used to be about, I think, he still is about 1800, but when he was at his peak, he was around 2100, 2200, and we'd play every summer and every other Christmas that I'd go, we'd play um, hundreds and hundreds of blitz games. So I was exposed to the game at an early age, and then my interest just took off.
Right now, you're still not going to be the highest rated dreadlock player from the Scandinavian region, though. I think there's a grandmaster there. Any chance?
Niels.
Yes. Any chance that you'll be the highest rated dreadlock player ever?
um, who knows? I mean, Niels is certainly a talented player. I'm really truly of the belief that you 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 get out of the game the work that you put in. Of course, I mean there's a certain level of talent that goes into it, but if you really work hard at anything, I believe you'll see the fruits of your labor. And um, I haven't actually. I think I never actually had the best chance to put in as much work in the game as I'd like to, simply because I never had a coach, and I couldn't afford. To be frank, I couldn't afford coaching and traveling to tournaments all the time. But I think soon enough I will be able to put more work into it, and at the very least get the IM title.
I know you said you play a lot of sports. Is basketball your best sport? What else do you play?
Yeah, in high school I played varsity basketball. I ran track. I played soccer. Basketball is definitely my best sport. Um, in New York, sometimes in the city, when we're together, me, Robert Hess, Mark Arnold, um, Zach Wiener, and some other guys from New York, we just hang out and play some pickup in the park.
Right, and some of those friends you just mentioned just started the website, thesportsquotient.com, which you've started prognosticating for, giving weekly NFL picks. Care to tell the audience how your picks went in week two?
Oh man, they were awful. They were like, uh, hopefully, I got actually great reception in terms of writing style. People really seem to enjoy the writing piece the NFL insight. But man, there are a lot of 50-50 games that just sort of went the other way. I mean, the Bills Chiefs game is sort of like a crapshoot, and you can I mean, the Cowboys lost to the Seahawks. The Vikings Cowboys were another crapshoot. I did pick the big one though. Eagles Ravens. I got that one right, and I got some others right, but I was hovering around 50%. I don't think I'm going to be writing too many NFL articles. I definitely more specialize in the NBA realm.
I see. And have you become a Bobcats fan, or is it do they need to win some games before you become a Bobcats fan?
Oh, never become a Bobcats fan. I'm from New York, so it's Knicks and Jets. So definitely, some of my friends here. We're actually talking about going to a Bobcat game. Maybe we could actually meet Michael Jordan because he's known to sit in the stands every now and then. But going to the Bobcats to see the team, that's sort of out of the question.
Yeah, I'm sure the Blue Devils are a much bigger draw. But let me ask you a couple chess questions before we leave. Who do you think the most underrated team in the USCL is?
The most underrated team. Well,
I'm setting you up here, of course.
yeah, I know you are setting me up, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure who the most underrated team. I'd really have to look at the rosters and see who some of the other lower rated teams are. I mean, certainly we are one of the underrated teams, but I mean that's certainly legitimate. I mean we're fielding teams with pretty low lineups rating wise. So I mean I'm definitely gonna hold my own on board too, best I can. But it's gonna be tough. I think the real key will be how board 2 and board 4 perform for us as a good barometer for how we're doing. Because thus far, Joshua Mu and Rao Swaminathan together have really done a good job. So if that continues, I think we'll be okay.
Well, you may have just answered this, but I was curious who you thought the MVP for the Cobras will end up being by the end of the year.
The MVP for the Cobras. I think it'll probably be me. I mean, why not? I think I've already said I think I'm pretty underrated, and I think I like being underrated. I like being the underdog. So you give me some strong players, and I'll do my best to meet the challenge.
A confident young man. Well, we wish you well in this season against all those Grandmasters on board too. You guys have the knockouts on Monday. We've been speaking with FM Kassa Korley, the frequent board 2 of the Carolina Cobras. And before we leave, we'd like to thank our sponsors, PokerStars, Chess.com, and the ICC. Thanks for your time, Kassa.
Thank you.